Welcome to the AirBnB Blueprint Podcast, your go-to training hub for building your very own Airbnb business. In each episode, we break down the exact blueprint that helps us build a multi-six-figure Airbnb business from scratch, and we'll show you how to do the same. Continue learning with us for free in the Airbnb Blueprint coaching community on Facebook. Find the link in our show notes below. Commit, believe, succeed. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Thanks for joining us. We've got Pooh with us again today.
Hello, good morning.
It is hot.
Yeah, good to see you. I think you bring the heat to UK this time. So.
It's warmer here than it is in Mallorca.
Is it?
28 degrees. It's nice. And we're in these lovely new comfy chairs.
It is, yeah.
And try to stay awake.
You were out on a bike last weekend, right? How hot was that?
It actually wasn't too bad. So what Pooh's referring to is Saturday just gone. I ticked off a bit of a bucket list cycling trip in Mallorca and did 312 kilometers, 5,000 meters of climbing, 8,500 cyclists, and did it in under 11 hours.
Amazing.
So yeah, I was pretty happy. Tried it 4 times and finally got it done.
Amazing.
So yeah, you'll have to come over and do the next one with me.
Well, I need to train first, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep the stabilizers on. Let's talk in this episode about scams. Online scams, physical scams. I do believe that people now are so overwhelmed with online trainings, different strategies, schemes, opportunities, right? Get rich quick, that it's kind of, there's so much overwhelm now that even though there's a huge amount of the population that are desperately looking for a side hustle, a second income, a new business opportunity, a way of supplementing their income, getting out of their day job, making more money, having more freedom. They want that so much, and they sit down, they open up the laptop, they put it into Google, and they get 1 billion hits, and every one of them is promising them the world in 7 days, right? For free. And what happens is that there's so much overwhelm that it makes people suspicious. You naturally start to think that everything's bullshit or a scam. You know, they're trying to rob you of your money. It's snake oil, it's fake, it's bullshit. And then they close the laptop and they do nothing.
These days, I would say we are a lot more cautious as well.
Yeah.
So the chance of you parting with your money to something else is a lot harder. But I believe the people who are like parting the money easily are the ones that are in desperate situations. Their back might be against the wall in some or whatever way. That is the part where that person would feel vulnerable and said, I need a change. I need something change. I need to make something good for my life, for my family, for whatever that reason might be. And they become a victim of these sharks or vultures out there that just trying to exploit their situations.
Yeah. Let's not just talk about what the problem is, but what can the solution be? I'm amazed how many people go out there and buy courses. They then find out it's been a big letdown. It hasn't worked. They've lost their money, or the support wasn't there, or what they was promised or told didn't even happen. And then they're surprised. And then they sit back and realize that they didn't do any research whatsoever on that person, right? They just saw an ad, it resonated, they clicked on it, they bought the product, and then they're surprised that it didn't work. So I guess my first suggestion or piece of advice would be to, go and look at that person or company and make sure that what they're selling or offering is something that they actually practice themselves. For example, anyone who's online selling a course on a certain subject, you should be able to find that person online, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you should see a pretty substantial timeline for years, right? Showing that they've been in the business, they're doing it.
Do what they do.
Yeah, because a lot of people out there, we know them, they've never done what they're actually packaging up and selling. They just see a gap in the market and they're like, oh, this stuff's selling really good. Create a 1-page ad, put it out there.
Yeah. I think one more thing I want to add to that as well is, do they actually put their face to it? Because there's a lot of, online frauds out there, right? And everything's like, they don't put their face to it. It's all like faceless. So there could just be a name, hashtag, blah, 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 but without any face to it. That should immediately give you a bit of an alarm, really.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people are doing, and I get it, it makes sense, right? Is they're looking at the things that are trending right now and they're jumping on that wagon. And, you can go and open up a little online business now in 5 minutes and you can start running some ads and you can start selling a course. But it's purely based on what's selling right now. For example, like how many ads do you see now for people who teach you the black magic behind how to use like ChatGPT the right way and make, unlock all the powerful tools of ChatGPT that you don't know how to do without this magic course? It's because that's trending right now. It's all about AI, people selling books on, how to build an AI agency is the other thing that I'm seeing. I guarantee you, if you went and did research into that person, they've never had an AI agency.
It's a bit of a scary thing, to be watching the space right now online. I think one of the things that I have discovered recently, yes, maybe I'm quite naive in a way, but I discovered something like, it's called pyramid scheme.
Ponzi schemes.
Ponzi scheme, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's been around for ages, right? But it kind of varies in terms, it evolves, I would say. But what I discovered recently was that there's a scheme. It's always like send the same message out to people, like how to kind of, I was making this money before, I'm struggling, but if you buy this course, you could be making X and X figures in the next so-and-so dates. So it's really attractive to a lot of like vulnerable people to say, oh my goodness, my financial is in a mess. I've got this much left. I need to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. And then for people to buy into that kind of course, inside there was nothing in there. There was nothing like there was nothing substantial. There was no knowledge. But basically it tells you that to go and sell this course to other people, to tell lies, to make up stories, to tell lies.
Yeah.
And that's how you can make the money back. And it starts to become a Ponzi scheme where people on top makes the most money, and then the people like coming down the pyramid, right? It just make less and less and less.
And you can see how that happens, because let's say that you've got your last $2,000, right?
Yeah.
And you're really up against it, and you're like, okay, I've got $2,000 left. I have to turn my life around with this money. You end up in this like Ponzi scheme or pyramid scheme, and even though inside you realize that this is a scam, it's like, well, what am I going to do? I've got to carry on. I've got to make this work. So I'm going to go and do what I'm being told to do.
I think a lot of people can't, come to themselves to say like, oh shit, like, because they have to lie as well, right? And a lot of people don't want to admit that they were lying too.
Yeah. Yes, obviously, if you're looking at getting involved in something completely new and doing a whole like 180 switch in your life to build that second business, to hopefully get out your day job or find financial freedom or work remotely, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Yes, you need to look at what is working today, but also I think you need to have some interest in what you're going into. Like I just said about AI agencies, for example. All right, that may be doing really well. I don't know anything about it, but I couldn't give a shit about an AI agent. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care about it. I'm not excited about it. It doesn't get me excited. I don't want to do it. So even if that is like the thing that's blowing up right now, I'm not going to go and do that, because you need to realize that whatever business you're going to get involved in, whether it's AI, whether it's, what we do, lead generation and selling, service accommodation leads and stuff like that. The reality is, guys, and you have to realize this, please take this away with you. If you take anything away, there is nothing out there, nothing that is going to make you find financial freedom or replace your income or achieve your lifestyle, your dreams overnight. Every single business is going to take effort, hard work, dedication, sacrifice, months of hard work before you see any real return. Realistically, a year, maybe 2 years of hard graft. Anyone out there that tells you anything else or anything different is just trying to sell you a course at the end of the day.
I think at least, if you're selling the knowledge, right, and then you can really help other people to make money or to achieve their dreams, to become something that they would like to do. I think that's a great thing, and then you can sleep at night as well.
I think a good way, and you can do this with anything, before you jump into something, sit down and write a list. If I'm going to invest in this, if I'm going to make this move, make this switch, make this change, what do I want the final outcome to be? What do I want my life to look like? Okay, get the vision, get the idea, and then you can start writing down and kind of reverse engineering it. So for example, for me, if I was going to do that at the absolute top would be, I want to be able to move around, work remotely.
Yeah.
I want to, I don't want to be in the UK. I want to be like, I live in Mallorca, work from there. So whatever I do, I have to be able to leverage my time. Once you've got that list, and then you can go out and start looking, okay, what fits that box?
Yep.
And then another big bonus on top of that is I want whatever I do, whatever I'm going to get into to be ethical, to be real, to be genuine. I don't want to make money by ripping people off. Yep. What we do, right? Generating leads, selling those leads to Airbnb hosts or serviced accommodation hosts. It's a win-win business. For me, I can work remotely. So I can work in Mallorca. I can pick my schedule. So for me, I like to get up. I'll go out and cycle in the morning. Tick. That's like if I can cycle every day or a few days a week, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And then I'm back home, open up the laptop. I can take that laptop anywhere to a co-working space, which I did the other day. I could go and sit at a beach bar as long as I've got some shade and I can see the computer and it's cool. And I can just sit there and I can start, generating leads, working on the funnel, reaching out to our clients that we work with, bringing those leads, contact our hosts and make money, right? So for me,
it felt great, right?
Yeah, and what a great way to leverage your time.
I think it's quite a misconception. Everyone wants to work like an hour a week.
Yeah.
But I think that is so wrong, because if you're out there and you have a passion for your business, right? I guarantee like you'll be willing to put more than an hour a week, or an hour a day to do that work completely. Because the thrill I get from selling the lead, speaking and doing the sales and close the sales is immense. And, I love to spend a few hours a day talking to clients, close the deals. That's what I like to do too.
Yeah. And what I like about it is you go from being hosts and you're sitting there like, oh God, I've got these properties. I need to fill my properties. I've got all this money going out on these rent to rent deals, the rent and the maintenance and this broker, got to pay for that and council tax and You're on the hook for all of that. I've got to fill the properties, all this stress and anxiety, right? You're slashing rates and you're changing your pictures and you're changing your titles and you're doing everything that you can. And now what we're doing more now of selling the lead generation stuff, you kind of flip that on its head. And now we're kind of sitting back, we put out the ads, we're looking for, we need 4 houses in this area for 6 months. And then we've got everybody coming to us now saying, oh, we've got this available and that available. So it's like all of a sudden we're in the driving seat because we have the bucket of leads.
Yeah. People are so like used to the I would say like, it's not like the old ways, but it's kind of is, This is something I don't quite understand, because every entrepreneurs that have come into the journey, right? I mean, you have like kind of pivot yourself away from the 9 to 5 anyway to begin with. So you are in some way like a black sheep of the whole crowd to begin with. And then you come into, let's say, the property space, so you started to become entrepreneurials and you start to invest in this. But then you start to follow the same herd again. Yeah. You don't want to do something different. And that's what I don't understand.
I think it's safety. I think it's safety and it's comfort. If you're sitting in a room with 100 other people and everybody is telling each other, and geeing each other up and telling each other this is the right thing, then it's kind of that reassurance. Yeah. Whereas if you're going against the herd, like we are, and saying rent to rent's dead,
which it is heading that way.
Right.
So.
We know that, but the trainers aren't going to tell the masses that, because they're going to keep selling the courses. And that's what's unethical. And that's what we speak about all the time. So if you want to pivot, if you're in the business, if you're already an established operator and you're starting to see the rates and everything fall, and, the gaps of when you're empty starting to get bigger and bigger, and you're starting to panic, maybe you've got a few properties and you're starting to see your bank account slowly drain, then maybe you want to consider focusing more on what we do, which is, lead generation, building automation and funnels, and simply selling those leads for a nice commission. Yeah. No guests, no stress, no liability, no contracts, no rent-to-rent deals.
All the time.
Keep the clients happy and let the host do the work, and we just take our piece and then on to the next one.
And you know what? The other day, right? I mean, I've done spoken to one of the partners, not the partners, but somebody who got in touch with me, and the questions I got was really funny, because she said to me like, "You can't do this, like you're not supposed to charge me because." you're supposed to do me a favor. What makes you say that? You know, it's interesting. Because
Airbnb don't do you no favors.
no, this is a business transaction, legitimate business transactions. You know, we're bringing them the clients to fill their properties at a good rate. And why can't we charge our commissions?
Yeah, because like you said, it's work, it's effort. You know, we put a lot of time into building these relationships with our clients, and it's not really rocket science. They know that we're going to be able to give them the properties that they want in the locations that they need at the rates that they can
It's
pay.
a kind of service that we fulfill.
Yeah, we take all that work off their plate. So why are they going to go and sift through Airbnb and Booking.coms and deal with all that when we do it for them? Yeah. It just makes sense. People that are interested might go to find out more
Well, we got a
information.
freebie in our link. If you guys can head to the show notes, just, you know, tap, or is it our website, airbnbblueprint.co.uk/guide.
Okay.
We've got a free, freebie for you guys to download to have a look yourself.
Put some free information
if it resonates
there.
with you. So.
Yeah. Yeah, go check it out, guys. There's some free information there. If this is something that you want to get involved in, especially if you want to work, the best thing about this is that you can work remotely. So if you're maybe a little bit younger, if you're like me, if you don't have the wife and the kids and you're like, you know what, I can go and travel and work anywhere in the world and just focus on having a nice suntan and going cycling, then this is a fantastic opportunity for you. It's ethical, it's scalable, it's risk-free, and you can make a fantastic income from anywhere in the world. So go check it out.
Okay,
Cool. Appreciate that. Thanks for coming on, Pooh. Thanks for listening at home. We'll see you next week on another episode of the Airbnb Blueprint podcast. Take care.